Hello and welcome to Video Games and the Blockchain. You're watching Crypto Finder TV. I'm your host Chris Stead, and we are here to talk about all things video games and blockchain. It's an exploding space. There's plenty happening. It's going to have a big influence on the future of the gaming, all the bits and pieces we're seeing at the moment. We've got a huge show for you today. We're talking about 5 brand new games that you probably haven't seen before. We're going to talk about Epic Games and its interesting partnership with blockchain. How's that going to affect Fortnite, biggest game in the world right now? We're also going to have a bit of a discussion about what Microsoft can learn from the failings with Kinect when it starts exploring the blockchain space, as we detailed in last week's episode. Now, every single week, we start with the biggest news pieces that we've come across in the last 7 days, and we're going to do the same again this week. We're going to start with our first story, which is a game called Warfield. Now, Warfield is a first-person shooter. It's looking to bring the blockchain to the first-person shooter space. Yet again, it's a developer without a name. My pet hate. Why do they keep doing it, these crypto guys? No name on this developer. They just call themselves Warfield, unless I haven't been able to find it somewhere in the small print. Now, I'm going to set the scene. It's pretty interesting. So it's kind of like a battlegrounds game. So it's set on this like freighter, and there's going to be more maps introduced in the future. But at the moment, the main map is a freighter, and you're kind of land on this freighter. It's a battleground style game. It's a large cargo ship. The captain and the crew are dead. You've got a contract on your head. All these guys are on the ship, they're trying to hunt you down, you've got to be the last one to survive. That is the kind of setting. It's pretty cool. I like the premise, it's very nice. But what is making this game particularly interesting is that you need to bet crypto on your life. So, which is an interesting way of saying it. So the crypto behind this game is called Golder, or GLDR. And you have to bet before you play how much gold are you going to wage your life on in this game. And as you shoot or accept shots, you win or lose fragments of that bet that you've put in, and you try and obviously earn this cryptocurrency as you play. It's a really interesting concept. I'm going to just put up a little screenshot from the game here to kind of talk to you how it looks like it's going to display. As you can see there, we're in a combat here fighting against another guy on the other side of that cargo box. The green indicates where we've shot them and we've picked up some golder, and the red indicates when they've shot us and we've lost a bit of golder. Okay, so that's kind of the way it works. We've got a bit of a gameplay we're going to show you at the end of this little news story so you can see it in action for yourself. But that's a kind of concept. You'll be able to use this golder to buy in-game items and be able to trade weapons, we're told. There's a promise of that whole entire economy that we're starting to see in all these blockchain-based games. As for the game itself, it's looking pretty raw to me. It looks a bit old and dated. There's a lot of questions that I've kind of got on my mind straight away, like how much is it a golder? Like how much will a golder cost? Like how much do you have to bet to actually go in real-world cash? If you have a really bad game, do you drive yourself bankrupt? Like if you just get sniped for the whole entire game or something like that? Are there any other ways to earn in this? So like obviously there's going to be weapons in this game. It's a shooter, so can you kind of customize these and trade those to other players? Maybe have a little bit of an income on the side there. All of that hasn't been really answered yet. So I don't think Warfield is going to probably be the FPS that shoots this concept of betting cryptocurrency to play on your skill, based on your skill levels. But someone will. It's an interesting idea. It's available on PC Mac now, so you can go and try it out. And it's going to be hitting mobiles and consoles in 2019. So we're going to show you a little bit of gameplay now, just so you can see how it's currently looking in its current state, and see what you think. So there you go, that's Warfield, and it's a pretty savage just watching your balance go down like that, isn't it, while they're shooting. The level kind of reminds me, I think, of an old Call of Duty level as well. As you can see, it looks pretty raw, but the concept's really interesting and definitely one that we will expect to see a bit more of in the blockchain gaming space over the coming years, and these guys are out at first experimenting, so good on them, and we'll watch and see what happens. All right, now onto our second news piece. Now this is a game that we introduced a couple of episodes ago called Hash Rush. It's an RTS. It's hitting PC in Q3, but the alpha is just about to launch on July 31st. The alpha comes out, and you can sign up for that now through the hashrush.com website. And assuming that alpha goes well, they'll hit in Q3 on PC. Now, what this game is about, it's a classic kind of RTS scenario where you're building bases, mining resources, upgrading your parts, mining for crystals, fighting off the locals, so forth. Why the game has caught our attention is because of the quality of the art. It looks amazing. It's also this kind of interesting kind of spore dynamic to it, where the landscape is like a spherical kind of planet that you can roam around. There's definitely a lot to explore, a lot to discover if you look around the world. We're seeing this ability to craft advanced resources, which might tie into the blockchain aspect of it. Maybe you can trade those resources moving forward. Well, you definitely will be able to trade those resources. How unique they are still remains to be seen. The visuals look super polished. There's 3 different races. There's a pretty sense of humour to it all. They've come up with some really neat ideas there with the way that they're kind of separating these races and building out this world. Now, we do know that you can earn traditional kind of cryptocurrencies in this space. Zcash has been mentioned, Ethereum's been mentioned, they've promised more as well. How that mechanic plays out is still a bit unsure. Like, will you be earning it directly through the game, perhaps mining in the background, which is what I think is going to happen, or do you kind of trade out with the kind of in-game economy that you earn through the mining, the crystals that you mine? Like I said, the HashRush Open Alpha starts on July 31st. You need to sign up. They've got 2,000 spots reserved, so be quick if you want to check it out. It's definitely looking like a pretty good game. We do have some footage of it in action to show you. So if you like what you see, get over to the website and make sure you sign up before the chances run out.
Welcome to HashRush, the first game to combine real-time strategy with cryptocurrency mining. Create your own colony in the fantastical Hermaean solar system. Manage a range of units, harvest buried resources, and build structures to mine the valuable crypto crystals around your planet. But beware, dangerous creatures lurk nearby. Upgrade structures and put defenses in place to make sure your colony is kept safe. Life in the Hermaean universe is not always easy, but it is always fun, and you'll be rewarded with cryptocurrency payouts. Your mining colony is backed by real-world computing power from the HashRush mining farm, so you will earn Ethereum, Zcash, or other popular cryptocurrencies by completing quests and objectives. HashRush will also come complete with an in-game market that allows you to trade valuable items on the blockchain. It's peer-to-peer, so no need for intermediaries. You decide how much your items are worth. HashRush is the ultimate link between the gaming and crypto worlds, successfully crowdfunded via an initial coin offering raising over $1.8 million. We're now working hard to bring this unique project to life, with a closed pre-alpha testing phase in December 2017 and launching on PC in 2018. HashRush. Play, mine, earn.
So there you go, that's HashRush, and yeah, as you can see, it's really looking quite polished, quite nice. Definitely going to look out for, see if you can get yourself on the alpha and find out for yourself. Okay, on to news story number 3. A game has been announced and released, Gods Unchained. Now this is really exciting for me because the developer has a name, the Fuel Brothers. The Fuel Brothers are James and Robbie Ferguson. This is not their first crypto-based game. They're also the dudes that released Etherbots. Now, Etherbots was like a robot building game where you build up your own robots, you craft these kind of cool robots, you'd take them into battles, you'd fight, you'd earn more parts to further detail your robots and make them not only unique and cool and extra powerful. You can sell them on, all that kind of stuff. So they kind of experimented in the space before. Now, Gods Unchained is a different type of experience. It's like a Hearthstone-like a Magic the Gathering experience. There's 380 unique cards already available in this initial release of the game. What has made it stand out for us is there's a Battle Royale mode. Now, I haven't seen this in action yet. I don't know how it's going to play out, but obviously Battle Royale is the big genre of the moment. But this is a collectible card game. So how are they going to have this Battle Royale kind of thing work? I'm not sure. It sounds to me like you'll be kind of dumped into an environment and have to randomly fight people in games to kind of survive, be the last one standing in a certain kind of environment. Whether you actually parachute off a bus or something, I don't know. That's still to be determined. Other pretty cool things about this game is there's 3 god powers to choose from at the start of every single game, and those god powers will kind of somewhat define how you can play in battle, kind of give you a unique skill to unleash during the middle of the battle. When you join the game, you've got to pledge your loyalty on 6 gods, and this will define your different your play style of your character and the kind of the deck you want to set up, that type of thing. We've also been promised rotating game modes as one of the features of the game. One of those game modes, which has been detailed in the information I've seen so far, is that you'll be able to pick your opponent's cards, which sounds like a bit of fun. Now, one other part of this which I particularly caught my attention is that they've already building up to a world championship in 2019. They're pitching Gods Unchained as an esports game built on a blockchain. So it's all going to be fair and it's all going to be secure. And what they're doing is they're siphoning off about 10% of all the money that's been earned from people buying packs of cards in this game and putting it into a prize pool. They're trying to get to a goal of $1.6 million to be available by the time the tournament begins in 2019. They haven't actually explained yet the structure for that tournament or when it'll actually be kicking off, other than the 2019 date, but they have told us that we will find out more by the end of Q3 this year. So this is an opportunity, I guess, for collectible card game fans. I know there's a lot of you out there who are interested in this genre, which is proving to be quite a popular genre amongst developers in the blockchain gaming space, with a genuine prize pool that's going to be available in the future. So definitely one to keep your eyes on. Yet again, we've got some video footage for you to check out about this game so you can see a little bit more about it. Enjoy.
Nearly 2 billion video gamers worldwide. We're the 400 million who value our in-game assets and worry about trading safely and securely. That's why we created OpSkins. With millions of loyal buyers and sellers and over 150 million transactions completed, OpSkins has become the trusted global leader for buying and selling video game virtual assets. Our centralized trading platform has created trust and eliminated fraud for customers as we became a strong and growing community. But there's plenty more to come. As founders of OpSkins, we announced the Worldwide Asset Exchange, WAX, a decentralized platform designed to serve video gamers who collect and trade. WAX brings the power of OpSkins to everyone. WAX tokens can be used for acquiring in-game assets and enable everyone to operate a fully functioning virtual item marketplace similar to OpSkins. With zero investment in security infrastructure and the transactions processing, a decentralized WAX platform will allow millions of traders to create their own virtual stores on one platform that unites everyone, with instant payments bringing millions of new participants to a growing ecosystem. The WAX Marketplace is a global virtual item platform, accessible to everyone, providing a complete catalog of all assets available for sale in real time. With massive liquidity, buyers and sellers get best prices and quick payouts. And the global gamer community receives their own secure virtual item exchanges on the blockchain with Wax. Similar to how marketplaces such as Amazon, Alibaba.
I hope you enjoyed that footage, which has nothing to do with Gods Unchained. Sorry, technical file. Don't worry, I've got the right trailer for you. You play now, Joel? Okay, we can't play that for you right now, so we'll just continue on and have a quick chat about News 4. News Piece 4, which is a particularly interesting news piece, this one. Okay, so MagnaChain has launched. Now, MagnaChain is new blockchain tech that's been specifically designed for use by gamers. Now, it's based out of Singapore. The testnet has just launched. I got a quote here from the CEO that he put alongside the launch of the testnet, which is, "We believe the video games industry will play a vital role in blockchain to the masses." Now, what makes this blockchain particularly pertinent for gamers is there's the feature set that this blockchain enables. Joel will be able to bring up that information on that, mate. Yeah. And bring out the details on the features, please, Joel. There we go, mate. Okay, so these are the key features that make the MagnaChain blockchain specifically good for gaming. It's a hybrid proof of work and proof of stake mechanism, which is a bit innovative. Uses the best of both of those kind of confirmation procedures. There's the 51% attack proof. I don't know how they're managing that, but they're basically saying that their blockchain will not be able to be get a 51% ownership of any one group and broken down. It's got a token to do with it, the Magna token, MGC. We've got 100,000 transactions per second, which is obviously going to be huge for any game that scales in a big way into the gaming space. It's going to be scaling through the use of sidechains. It's DApp ready, smart contract enabled. The first games will be live in Q3 of 2018. They reckon they're going to have 50 games on this service by Q4 2018, and they plan to extend it beyond gaming. So these are all the reasons why MagnaChain is interesting to game developers. However, what we're finding really exciting about it is the fact that Epic Games has signed on as a partner with MagnaChain. Now, Epic Games are a major player in the AAA gaming space. You may know them as the developers of Fortnite, the biggest game in the world right now. Now, on top of Fortnite, they're also the guys behind Gears of War, the Unreal Tournament series. They did Bulletstorm. This is the network this is the company that had Cliffy B, who was a big personality about a decade ago, and they're probably their biggest and most important contribution to gaming is Unreal Engine, which is used by a ton of major games, a ton of major developers. They're partnered with MagnaChain, so whatever MagnaChain is doing, they're obviously linked in intimately with Epic Games. Now, Fortnite as a product has a lot of features in it that would be very well suited to the blockchain, with all those unlockables you get through the Battle Royale pass if you buy it. All the stat tracking, the esports side of it, the tournament side of it. I mean, like Fortnite, they've just announced they're having a tournament, I think it was $100 million worth of prize money, even more, that they were doing over tournaments between now and 2009. All that stuff could be tracked on the blockchain. The fact that these guys are partnered with MagnaChain and they also happen to have the biggest game in the world right now is significant. It's definitely a space to follow. So that's the MagnaChain. And we're going to have to wait and see just what plays out there between Epic Games and MagnaChain, but you'll hear about it first on GxB. Before we go to the next news, Joel, are we ready with that trailer at all for Gods Unchained? In about 60 seconds. Okay, so let's kick on with News Story 5 for now then. We've got to have a dose of reality. Now, Reality Clash is a game we haven't spoken about before here on GxB, but it is a game that was first announced in 2017. They did an ICO in which they raised $3.5 million through the ICO. It's an AR game. They call it a first-person shooter AR game. I'm trying to get my head around exactly what this concept entails. What I can see from the information available, it's on iOS, it's on Android. It plays a bit like Ingress. You're in this kind of alternate world where in 2017, in the timeline of the game, some bloke managed to hack into one of the nodes and then fall into this kind of alternate reality, like a Matrix-like reality. And inside there, it looks like the real world, but then other groups have now, these 3 other major groups have now come into this space as well, and all fighting to compete on this alternate version of our real world. It's an AR game. You go through the world, you look through your phone, you can see things in the world that aren't there for real, obviously, like Pokemon Go. I've played these experiences before. What I've seen from the footage so far would show like a gun in the bottom of your screen like this that you're aiming and shooting at those you come across, or the various things. that are threats, but also the world will populate with like covers, like for example, like little concrete bullards or like poles and stuff that you can actually move in and out. So they're not really there, but they appear in the game world, and the combat actually takes that into account, which is pretty cool. So you can't shoot through these things. So that allows you to then crouch, duck around like a complete weirdo in a public space. You'll be able to earn resources by kind of like tackling or owning key parts of the world. So this is going to be that kind of ingressing where you kind of try and gain certain landmarks or certain parts of the world. That'll earn you resources, and then you use that to buy weapons. It looks like the weapon economy in this game is going to be quite intense. There's going to be a lot of trading involved there, and it seems like perhaps a lot of customization as well. It's a big part of the experience. The news that's kind of got this back on our radar is that they've just signed up with the BLMP network. Now these guys are not a mob I'd heard of before, but they work with a blockchain-based licensing agreements where you can basically sign up as a partner and access or license certain things from people like Universal Music as part of it. And it sets up this system of smart contracts where you pay off one thing, but there's no kind of ongoing royalty costs, and there's no kind of expiry date on these things. That makes it much more easy, but it also acts as a platform for people to invest in the partners if they like what they see. Now, some of the names that I've seen already mentioned on this, there's 1,000 brands involved in this BLMP network, but Rovio, who do the Angry Birds series, they're on there. Nintendo, and no introduction, Curse Digital as well, is on there. So there's obviously been a fair few people using this in the background that wasn't really known to gamers, or at least researched by gamers. And now these guys that are doing Reality Clash are going to be involved in it as well. Now, I've just talked a hell of a lot about this game, which I probably shouldn't have done, because we've got a really in-depth little peek into the game right now for you with a very enthusiastic member of the team. So we're going to roll that for you so you can check it out in more detail, and hopefully we'll have a more information on Reality Clash soon.
Hello, my name is Simon Miller, and today I'm here to tell you about Reality Clash, meaning your first question is, what the hell is Reality Clash? That's what I'm here for, though, to let you know about a game that is about to turn your mobile world upside down. So let's start with the headlines. Reality Clash is an augmented reality FPS combat game for mobile that uses geo-mapping technology with the world's first crypto narrative, backstory, and theme. The real heart of it, though, is the ability to enter a virtual world through an exciting AR portal. This portal is the gateway to a virtual landscape in which you can battle against other players and AI. If you imagine a first-person shooter that's set both in the real world and within virtual reality that you can access from your mobile phone, well, you're already on the right track. You also get rewarded for exploring the environment, which, yes, means heading out onto the streets to see what you can find, while visiting safe houses in specific locations that will offer the opportunity for real-world discounts at actual retailers and benefit from AR adverts and offers, which then help mine resources to build weapons. Now, straight away you may be thinking about the idea of pay to win, but Reality Clash isn't like that at all, because it's skill-based. Even any ads you'll find in-game are immersive, meaning they're simply part of the environment that you find yourself in. They never disrupt play. The real fascinating part, however, does come when we start talking about the armory, and if you would like more information about that, please click the link in the description below. In short, however, you'll be able to profit, and we're talking real money here, by trading unique items at the Reality Clash Armory with Reality Clash Coin, a cryptocurrency dedicated to the armory economy. And again, if that word scares the hoo-ha out of you, don't worry, because there's another link in that there description which will walk you through that whole process as well, and maybe, just maybe, teach you a little bit about cryptocurrency too. All of these items do have an actual value, much like you would purchase in your real life, as they are tokenized on a blockchain and come with proof of ownership, not only to brag about that fact, but also stop said items from being replicated elsewhere. It's entirely unique to you, and should you so wish, can be used in other games. Hey, you can even go and sell these weapons for proper cold hard cash. And we all love cold hard cash. Tastes good. These weapons are limited too, and you can get a feel from them right now thanks to the Armory app, which is out for Android devices. You simply have to search for it in the relevant store, so not only can you see and hear the weapons, but also start to understand how original each one is. 2 new guns with 2 new skins are being added in every week, so if you do want to get a leg up on the competition, you can go over there now and do just that, or you can get involved with the trading side of things and start to make some proper moolah. Planned for release in late 2018, you could say that Reality Clash is like taking the best first-person shooter, mixing it with the best AR game, and then encouraging you to go out onto the streets so you can mix your real life with your virtual one. If that doesn't sound good to you, well, to be honest, you're probably dead inside. For more details about Reality Clash, please click one of the videos that are on screen now, or one of the links in the description below, or you can also go to realityclash.com. Reality just got more real. Nope, that's a terrible tagline. Cut that, take it out. That wasn't approved at all, by the way. That's not an approved line. I just said it. Probably shouldn't have said it.
Okay, that was Reality Clash. Now, good news. We've discovered and found and located the video for Gods Unchained. It's a 30-second snippet. Not long, but we promised it, so here it is. Have a quick look at this. Oh no! There you go, we got there. That's Gods Unchained. Hope you liked it. Now, I've been joined in the studio now by Brodie Fogg, the resident games expert here at Finder.com, to talk about more things, blockchain and video gaming. As we like to do every week, Brodie, what have you been playing?
I have been playing Hollow Knight.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's a game that I realised I should have played a very long time ago. Little gem from an Australian indie called Team Cherry Games.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically a 2D action adventure, like, you know, Metroidvania is the term that's thrown around. And I can't put it down. It's one of those games. It's the first game in a long time where I'm milking every bit of free time that I can find to pick up the Switch and jump back in. It's absolutely amazing. Like, I can't give it enough praise. I can't believe it's taken me this long to actually pick it up.
Aussie made.
Yeah, exactly right.
Can't hate that. I have finally finished the second Tomb Raider.
Hey.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. So I'm a big fan of the series. I was a huge Uncharted fan last generation. I think Tomb Raider might have actually started taking that space from me this gen.
Yep.
I love the first game. Well, not the first game, obviously, but the first game in the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, I enjoyed the hell out of it. The third one's coming up at the end of this year, and like, if you haven't got into this series yet, I just highly recommend it. Like, it's so well made.
Yep.
There's plenty of content in there.
Yep.
The story's great. The ending's a little bit soft. Like, we don't have those epic boss battles that you see in kind of some of the other games, you know. But like, I remember, I think it was Uncharted. Was it Uncharted 2? The boss battle at the end of that was broken. So
Yeah.
so you know, like, maybe a boss battle isn't the be all and end all. But yeah, the Tomb Raider series. Can't wait for the third one. I think it's November.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Oh.
Shadow. I've got the first two of the reboot, of course, sitting underneath my television to like remind me to burn through, because I made it about halfway through the first one when it first came out, but now I've got the remastered edition, so I want to start from the ground and work my way through before Shadow comes out. Which
reminds you, if you're a fan of Crystal Dynamics, look for the story on Finder.com about Legacy of Kain. We broke a big story about that not too long ago. Now, mate, you've always got your finger on the pulse when it comes to gaming. What's kind of the big news in gaming this week? You come across anything cool?
Yeah. Well, so the thing that you can't avoid this week is Fortnite's 5th season.
Yeah.
So I've dipped my toes in and out of Fortnite. I'd call myself a fairly casual Fortnite player. But every time they drop, more and more content, and like they're putting on a really big show. Like, the further it goes along, like they dropped a prop from the game in the middle of the desert to tease it with an all-terrain vehicle. So basically, their ATV all-terrain vehicle that they've added is a 4-person golf cart. So when you squad up with 4 people, you can load everybody in and
like
hoot
a
around
warthog.
the map. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So before this, they added the trolley, which is just a shopping trolley. That was a 2-person vehicle. So this is their latest one. So I'll definitely be jumping in to check that out. They've also added a new biome, which is the desert map. and a few new locations: Paradise Palms, Lazy Links, and some more points of interest around the map.
Is the desert an actual completely separate map, or is
No. So it's like
that world?
Still within that world. It's kind of like bottom right corner of the map, but it's a really big section.
Yeah.
So keen to check that out. It's as with all of these games, you're constantly playing the same map over and over, and while it's massive, these season drops really do help mix it up a bit, because you end up kind of knowing the map like the back of your hand.
It's a really interesting model, isn't it? So it's every 10 weeks, basically. You get a new season. The excitement, I've been seeing a lot of talk about it over the last, probably the last 3 or 4 days. But obviously today was the day, wasn't it, where we started getting all the news? Today's the official ending of season 4 and the official start of season 5.
Exactly right, yeah. And they're just that's the tip of the iceberg. They're the biggest kind of content changes, but there's just a long list of fixes and improvements across the board. So.
What you wouldn't have caught this, but I was just talking in our news section earlier about Fortnite has just partnered up with Epic Games has partnered up with the MagnaChain, a blockchain technology company, and we haven't seen what that partnership's going to bring, but obviously Fortnite's very, very, very well set up for blockchain. So
yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's maybe that's the side season 5 announcement that no one really caught except for the GxB loyal fans. So what I wanted to chat to you today, when we're talking about blockchain and gaming, I always try and present a new argument for you to decipher or deliver a thought on. Now, last week we spoke about Microsoft and it getting into the blockchain space, which kind of was this announcement that came out of the back end of E3 and no one really caught, which wasn't the fact that they're experimenting with the blockchain, but they're actually already using it. And they've now set the blockchain in place to handle all the royalty payments to game developers. It's made it cheaper, faster. The developers are way better off. They're seeing what they're earning in real time as opposed to a 45-day delay. We also saw Ubisoft is also partnered with Microsoft to start using the blockchain as well to handle their digital content ownership rights. So that's the way in which the royalty payments might go from Microsoft to Ubisoft, and then Ubisoft has to then dole those out to their various contractors. If it's a game like Just Dance, all the music companies that are involved, and there'd be so many tiers. Every dollar would be split up so many ways. So that's how they're using blockchain tech. But the dialogue around that announcement definitely spoke about Microsoft moving to a blockchain-based ecosystem, gaming ecosystem, and we can see that start to move from just behind the scenes of the developers to also the way that we're playing games and the way that gaming currency has been done. Now, what I want to talk to you about is what we're seeing at the moment with a lot of these crypto games is in-your-face crypto. They've either got names like Crypto Kitties, or they've got Ether bots, or they've got the in-game currency is called something coin. That's it's all very in your face. I want to get, I guess, as a first reaction from you. So what do you think gamers think when they first see a game name with crypto or a crypto-based word in it?
Yeah, I think it's an immediate kind of turn-off for a lot of people, because regardless of if you're interested in what it means for the game, if you're not in that world, it's putting up a barrier straight away. When it's putting that feature at the forefront, and not saying much else about the game. If you're not in that world and understand crypto or blockchain like me, that's why I'm here to learn some more. But you're immediately kind of pushed away. So that's kind of how I would see most of the gaming kind of community would.
Which is something we've seen in the past. We've seen it with the Wii, for example, and Wii Sports and Wii. And Wii Resort and all those different games, and as soon as that kind of had that in it, you had this sensation that this is going to be a motion-based game. It's going to be with my Mii characters. There's a lot of people just didn't want that experience. But with Microsoft in particular, there's Kinect. That was a classic example of technology being put in front of your face when it didn't need to be. So an example for me with Kinect is as soon as I saw the word Kinect in a game, I was just oh, here we go. They're either going to make me stand up, jump over things, wave my hands like an idiot. I don't want to play a game like that. Whereas Kinect as a piece of tech was awesome. It was way better than PlayStation Eye. It was leading the way in all the movements and everything. Surgeons were using the bloody Kinect.
That's what I was going to say. So many applications outside of gaming.
And it had voice recognition as well in there. So there's all these different ways. I always imagine this idea that you could use Kinect in the background of a game of, say, for dynamic difficulty.
Yeah.
So the thing is watching you play. So if you're playing some sort of game, like a horror game, and you're kind of like slack down in your chair like this, and you're just playing, and you're not really into it, then the camera can see that and go, I've got to put a jump scare on this guy and get him involved.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
throw some zombie out from around the corner, otherwise engage you.
Yep.
It doesn't have to have Kinect in the name. You don't even have to know Kinect's even behaving.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
But there was that game, oh God, it's escaped me, where it recorded your scares. So like it was
Yeah,
always
that.
running, and at the end of a level, like you'd get the, was that?
It was there's been a few like that. There was,
Yeah.
a lot of mini games had that as well. Like
Yeah.
it'd take a pose, a shot of you, or dancing like an idiot or something.
At a
or
certain
something.
place, yeah,
And then flash it back, which is funny as hell.
Yeah.
But that was a gameplay mechanic. That was part of the experience.
Exactly, yeah.
So I guess what we're talking about here is whether or not the games that we're going to see, like following on from what Microsoft said, and the assumption that we're going to see more blockchain-based games in the future, if they come out with kind of like, Halo crypto shooter or something like that, like everyone's just going to frown, right?
Yeah.
But so getting these developers to do stuff in the background is the way to go. By the same token, if you're then promoting that game as a feature set, how do you think gamers, it's probably the same answer, but how do you think gamers will act when you see the words saved on the blockchain used in the features of a game? Is that an intrigue, or is that immediate standoff?
Yeah, standoff, right? Like where we are now, right? Like nobody kind of has that reaction to a game that tells you it's saving your data on the cloud or it's leveraging the cloud to, for processing. But there, once upon a time, like when the cloud was like a mystery to the general public, it might have been similar. I think the difference is that blockchain and crypto have this very kind of split out community, and it's almost like bit of gatekeeping there, like all the lingo that they use and stuff like that is kind of like if you're not a part of that, then you're just on the outside. Whereas cloud tech is kind of it's just there, and which is what you're talking about now, right? Like if these games begin to use blockchain or crypto, it's got to be kind of behind the scenes. I don't think it's something they can put up front.
Do you need to know that the in-game currency is a crypto?
Yeah.
Like really, you don't need to know that. It can be rings, it can be coins, it can be emeralds, it can be whatever it wants. Just you don't have to call it a cryptocurrency or a token or anything that uses that language. All you need to know is that you can buy sections, you can buy it from the marketplace or whatever, X amount of these things, just like any other old in-app purchase, but you can also earn it and use it to buy other things in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it just behaves, it's a more transparent, faster, easier way to get actual in-game currency into the real world.
Yeah, and it's not too far separated from how the Nintendo Switch eShop works right now, where not necessarily buying in-game stuff, but if you purchase a game, you're given tokens to spend on games like down the line. So Hollow Knight, when I purchased that, I got I think it was like 80 Nintendo eShop coins to spend, and they're pretty good value. And then like my next purchase, I chipped off a fair chunk. That to me seems like just like one step away from kind of becoming like a blockchain powered currency.
So the difference here is like if you're in Mario or whatever and you've collected 2,300 gold coins or whatever, that you can just go. It's just in the user interface, and I cash that out, and that's worth $10 to me on the eShop. Yeah. Because that's how much they've decided as the transaction fee. That's all you need to know. Same with the concept of in-game ownership and that. You don't need to know it's a blockchain-based thing. You don't need to really know how it's all running. All you need to know is that when you go to the user interface, it says you have these guns, these swords, these rare items, and here's the marketplace, and Joe Bly is willing to give you this much, for that, and you can just go yes or no.
Yeah, exactly.
And just trade across. You don't need to have all this lingo in the background. You sure as hell don't need to call it crypto world or cryptonomy or some sort of crazy thing like that to break the ice. Would you be surprised to find out that maybe there's games already doing that? Like, would it change your attitude at all if you found out, you've turned around and you found out, holy hell, like Hearthstone's been using it for the last 3 years, I didn't even know. Or so,
it would be,
or Counter-Strike.
Yeah, exactly. Like it'd be an interesting revelation. I don't think it would shift my perception either way. Especially if it was transparent and always there, sort of, in the T's and C's. Like, again, being somebody who doesn't quite understand, at least the complexities of how the technology works, who am I to say, like, you know, whether it's bad or good or make a judgment? So, I mean, it just seems to me like it's. I get where you're coming from, and I think it's only ever going to be this thing that's that I think that's when it happens, it is 100% going to go down like you've described in the background.
Yeah.
Because it's not something like Kinect where they can, you know, Microsoft can book a shot on the morning show and get Carl Stefanovic to, like, you know, jump around and wave his hands around to advertise like their latest crypto or blockchain technology.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be something that they just implement, and, you know, it's a bit of a side note.
Well, I mean, I guess gamers are interested in gameplay.
Yes.
And how the experience is. They're not really interested, like some are, but they're not really interested in the mass way in how that process actually works. You know, and like I look at like someone like FMod, for example, who are the Aussie sound guys from Melbourne who do a lot of the sound for most of the big games, and like we don't need to know that they're doing Atmos. You know, we don't need to know it's FMod doing it. We don't need to have like parts of the game where the character says, "Oh, you'll know a treasure chest is nearby when you hear the FMod tinkle" or something like that. You know, we just know that it's got. Oh, I'm going to be able to plug this into Atmos and get the real experience. We don't need to know how FMod's actually doing it.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah.
And I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
So that's the rule there, guys. That's the way to follow. Okay, just release a kick-ass game with some killer features and hide that blockchain concept behind, and just let the blockchain's features, what it can deliver, provide a game that experience that no one's ever had before. And then down the track, you can say, "Oh yeah, by the way, we did all that on the blockchain." People go, "Wow, really? Blockchain? I'll get interested in that." All right, so we're almost up for this week's episode, but before we leave, we've got one last game to show. This is Age of Chains. Did you get a chance to look at the video for that?
I did, yeah.
So just a bit of details on it. It's a two-man effort coming out of Berlin. It's a 1v1 PvP trading card game. We spoke earlier about how kind of the collectible card games are proving to be one of the hot genres in the blockchain space, and we're going to see a fair bit of innovation, I think, in the way that the trading experience goes and those kind of economies. Scarcity is confirmed by the blockchain, which is why we love it. It can be traded and sold, of course. I like the story idea here. So it's set 1 billion years into the future, right, where the Milky Way and the Andromeda galaxies have actually collided, right? And during those billion years, the way that it's evolved is the Milky Way has gone down the decentralized route of following the blockchain and becoming this kind of independent community or galaxy, and then the Andromeda guys are turned into a centralized dictatorship.
Right.
And so these are the two forces that will be clashing in the game for control of this merged galaxy. There's a big focus on the art style with this game. That's kind of their big thing. They want the art to look amazing.
Yep.
And we're going to show you a video in a second of like them putting together one of those cards and the detail and process they're going into. But what do you think of the trailer from what you saw?
Yeah, the art is impressive, like without a doubt, and I'd be keen to play anything like that, you know, down the line. It is following this trend that we've seen again. I know I mention this nearly every time, but there seems to be a trend of showing these games in very, very early stages. Like, you know, the art is fantastic, don't get me wrong, but showing a Photoshop file being edited in real time, you know, fast forward, doesn't make for the most exciting trailer content, in my opinion.
Well, don't say that. We're about to show it. Stick around.
Hey, wait. No, it's great. It's fantastic. Check it out.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, though. Like, gameplay is what we all want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for a lot of these guys that are merging into this space, a lot of them have got some like pre-sales of some description in there. They're trying to encourage people to invest in some way in getting these cards that are going to be rare before the game as an alternative to doing a Kickstarter.
Exactly right.
Where we also see video content of very similar things to this.
Yeah.
So
they need to gauge interest as soon as possible.
Yeah, I understand why they're doing it. It's just like you kind of desperately want to just play, or get some hands-on. Yeah, exactly. We are seeing, we just spoke about a couple of games earlier in the show today which are out now that you can actually go and play, and it is happening. We are transitioning into that space where the blockchain games are going from pie in the sky to playable, which is good. But you know, Age of Chains is currently in that space of being all about a big idea, but it's looking good. And I did read through the feature list for the game, and one of the features was epicness. So
sign me up.
Okay, so that's all we've got time for in this week's episode of Video Games and the Blockchain. Brody, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you tune in next week, and now check out that amazing trailer of the art of Age of Chains. age of change. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.